Even I don't think that's
Or
going to turn
Dire,
them
I
off.
think
It's just
those-
very small sample.
Even
but
Dire is like really good now, I think, because of the Roshan and your offlane. It's better. I think it's better because
I
you
think
can
better than
block.
choosing first pick.
Team Secret also seem to really favor having strats that can control the Roshan. Like every game they really had control.
Their like average match time is much longer than most teams. They play much more towards the late game. Roche is a lot more important for them.
But do you guys think that drafting a team fight composition will be really important in this matchup between these two?
Yeah, I mean, so far for both game 1 and 2 it was. So I mean, I expect CDC to go for the Void again. Like it's. I think the previous game was they had the Void, but what did they have to go with the Void?
Yeah, they had
They picked
Void.
the Rubik was the big question mark pick for me because like game 1 they had Lina Enchantress and then they go into a Rubik, which doesn't really offer.
But don't
much
you
with
think
Void.
it's also because of the core they paired with the Void? Like they had Weaver and
Yeah.
Razor, which are just meant to win their lanes and not meant to, do well with the Chrono. They're just going to right click outside the Chrono.
I think they got tempted to get Rubik because there was a tide.
And then it was hilarious. You could see how much disrespect Secret showed towards the Rubik because they picked Enigma after the Rubik. Like you pick Rubik,
doesn't matter.
We don't care. We'll take Enigma anyways.
It's not like about the black hole.
No,
I mean,
it's
the black hole was really good in the game, but it was more of like we wanted to have a jungler that can transition into a core so that we can actually pressure you in the game. You have to always feel like we have to do something because the enemy has one guy jungling. And if we don't do anything, we're going to lose out.
They could have won that game without it,
by the way.
I mean, without black hole.
Really
let's be real though. The Rubik was never going to get anything anyways. Like if he gets Blink and he gets an Aether Lens, okay.
Still,
but he was never going to when they have an Enchantress and he has to play like the hard 5 support. He has to like go beyond playing the hard 5 support. He has to be like the 6th position, and he's never going to make that impact.
Okay, or Lina.
Is this the same?
No,
Is this the
draft.
same?
Yeah, it's the
opening?
same. Apart from the Invoker is different for Team Secret. From game 1, I can't remember what they.
Game 1
opened
Secret banned it out instead of the Bounty. I believe.
Did they ban
Bounty
it?
was second stage ban in game 1.
So I think this is like similar. This is similar logic to game 1. The reason I said they might go for Puck is that obviously worked for them very well in game 1. I think it's a solid mid laner, but they do the same thing here, just with the Lina. It can go mid, it can play against Invoker, and if they need it, they can swap something else.
So team fight it is.
Yep.
They're going back for.
Telling man, just pick Silencer if you see DEC. I had to say it at some point, boys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, Winter even said it's not about the black hole, and it's really not. Like you win that last game with black hole.
Invoker, he gets sad.
That's true.
He gets sad.
Who else doesn't get
too?
Who else doesn't get
Void
silent?
makes him sad too.
Yeah.
I don't think Silencer is a bad idea, but
Oh yeah, sorry.
You probably ban Tide now.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you have Invoker, like you want supports that have like disable. You don't want to just rely on we have black holes so that I can land my combo. You want something else that you can always constantly have instead of a big cooldown like black hole. So I mean, it's nice to have Silencer against the Void, but then again, you have to realize it's all about having balance as well.
No, I meant CDEC get Silencer.
Oh, for CDEC.
Yeah. To play against the Enigma black hole and also make a Invoker sad.
Yeah, it's still good, but at the same time, for Chronosphere, like you want to draft stuff that actually can deal instant damage.
But when the Chrono's over, then you silence.
But if the Chrono's over and you haven't won the fight,
you win big.
Then you win during global.
Yeah, exactly. It's a backup plan, Winter. I've got plan A, B, and I'm working on C.
And what happens when the Chrono misses? Global's not going to miss.
Yeah. I don't know. Pilot Dies missed a few globals.
Yeah. I just figured someone should respond, so I just said yeah.
CDC, this is what we talked about. They're stubborn and they're one-dimensional.
Yeah, stubborn and one-dimensional. That was our cons for
games.
CDEC.
But then they open up with the exact same draft as game
It worked
1.
though. I mean, kind of stick with what works.
But they're also fast. So what can they pick that's fast? Weaver was pretty fast. Last game.
Bloodseeker.
Enchantress, highest move speed.
Really?
Yeah.
yes,
That's the highest move speed in game.
Chaos Knight is fast.
Yeah.
Who has the fastest animation? For like spellcasting.
Rubik. Every spell he steals with ult has 1 millisecond. Is it? Yeah.
Sorry, I'm derailing this draft.
Oh, there's a draft.
Continue as you were, Cinderin.
I think CDC just need to be careful not to fall into the same trap again, because they might feel like, oh, but this time we know what went wrong last game. We can pick more team fight and we can fight them head on. I still don't think you fight head on into a lineup with Invoker Enigma Tide. It's just too difficult.
Are people scared of just like playing? Is this the meta? Is this what we're going to see in other games as well? Like people just going, let's pick how much team fight we have, or it's like surely Alliance are like, no, let's split push and be annoying.
It's gonna be dependent on series. Like every series has their own because different teams prioritize in picking different heroes. Because everyone is good at different heroes. So I think we'll see a shift between teams. Like every team has their. Obviously, there are going to be a few heroes that everyone plays, but there are going to be difference between how the teams run it.
Where do you want CDEC to go with this? Couch number 2.
Are we
And Winter. Your couch number 1.
Couch number 1. Oh, I didn't know we have numbers here.
I just gave them to you.
10 seconds remaining.
I think team fight, like what we mentioned, like both teams will
5
prioritize in a lot of
seconds
team fight,
remaining.
despite Syndra mentioning, oh, you're not going to be able to fight into Invoker, Enigma, and Tide. So maybe the
Reserve
first step
Tide.
is to remove the Tide first, because Tide is really good versus Void, and they're taking a long time.
Yeah. I'm kind of most curious to see what Aggressive's going to be playing, because I think that's going to kind of decide a lot of how CDC play. If they're going to play, like, their timing window is reliant on probably him more so. Like, you go to game 1, he's playing a Sven and waiting. Like, he played a lot. It was a lot much later timing, but they can also get something more early game centric. The gyrocopter's out the window, but there's a kind of other options they can look to go for, and they're going to go for the Clinks here. So I think this is much more early game focused than the Sven, for example, because Clinks doesn't need as many items to get active.
So
Very good synergy with
So I
Void.
guess the Slada ban was just because Klings is weak against Slada,
Yeah.
because of the M damage. Even though we think that the Tide would fit their lineup better.
I still think Secret might just pick Tide, but this is a good hero in lane against Tide. Clinks does very well in that matchup 1-on-1.
It's still, well, it's not going to be, it'd be a 2-on-1 anyways. They still have their support open, so they could
Yeah.
they could either run the Lina there or get like a Witch Doctor or something, and I feel they can zone a Tide.
5
And this
for
is
sure.
aggressive
remaining.
on Clinks?
Yeah,
Most likely.
most likely, yeah.
I kind of don't want to see them do the
Reserve
mid void
time.
again against the
I agree.
Invoker.
Yeah.
I think then if you have an Enigma, you need a carry that can do really well against the Void, just in a straight matchup with just one other support. We saw Ursa get banned out earlier by, I can't remember which team.
CDC.
Yeah, but I think it's really good against the Void because the Fury swipes carry over.
Yep.
And it gives you really early Roshan potential with Invoker plus Enigma.
And the Void, like, offlane becomes so easy when your opponents have Enigma, because it's like there's 2 heroes there
Yeah.
at most, so if anything, it should be like a dream offlane game when you see an Enigma.
Lion is probably one of the better
Seconds.
solo
Turn to
supports
pick.
in this situation then.
Yeah.
If you have to play
But it's hard to zone Void as Lion though. You can't really, because you don't have anything that's, you have a lot of disable that can actually, you do damage and he can't really backtrack off it, but you can't really like harass him a lot because you don't have any damage over time.
It's
I
not
think you
good for the
just-
lane, it's good for the game.
Yeah,
good
but
for the game, yeah.
if you just like stack and pull, get level 3, then you pick some carry like Ursa or something along those lines that can just burst them down
10
during the
seconds remaining.
disable time, it's okay. Because then the Void will just respect you anyways.
5
So you
seconds
basically need a
remaining.
carry that is self-sustainable. You don't really
Yeah.
need the support there in the lane too much.
But Secret
Reserve
picks
time.
like that anyways. They usually pick Envy a hero that he can just go and do whatever he wants with.
So and for Cdec, they're probably still deciding whether the Lina should be a support here. That's the biggest question. Or the Lina would be mid. So the
Team
Stalker would
Secrets,
most likely
turn
be the
to pick.
position 4 with the Iron Talon. We see there's a lot doing MDL, jungling and getting like what, minute 21, minute 22 Aghanim's for his team. So it gives the Void a lot of vision, and it means that it's easier to actually get the Chronos off.
They seem like a really quite scary team here, CDEC. In terms of if they get any kind of momentum, it's going to be hard to stop.
Yeah, fast paced, they take control of the map, and
Yeah.
they suffocate you
10
because of Night
seconds
Stalker.
remaining.
Yeah.
And the Night Stalker synergizes really well with the rest of their heroes, because you've got, it can give
Cdec,
vision for the Void to
turn
get a
to
good
back.
Chronosphere off, Lina to get pickoffs, and you can see the Enigma coming in as well
And-
with the Black Hole.
And I think as well, like even if they are putting fear into Team Secret, sure they've got this nice kind of team fight lineup, but they can also kind of pose and just never team fight unless they just
10
want to get ahead in
seconds
farm.
remaining.
Pick the fights
Because they
that they
actually
want
have
to.
like Night Stalker scales great, Clink's obviously amazing,
5 seconds
Lina as
remaining.
well. So they almost seem a little bit like they have the late game advantage, would you say, for
Reserve
CDC?
time.
Yeah, and it's very multi-dimensional because they can not just team fight but find pickoffs. Like Night
Yeah.
Stalker, Clinks, I mean Lina. These heroes can just go off and like 2-man gank squads find a kill on an Invoker who's trying to split push. So it forces Secret to play 5-man, and then CDC
And then they can decide if they want to take the
Yeah.
5-man or avoid it.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Last time they had no way of dealing with the Tide, but this time you can just silence it and ignore them entirely. You're in silence position. And most importantly, vision is so important when you're playing against heroes like Enigma plus Sidehunter. You always want to determine the field of battle, how you're going to approach the fight. So when you've got the Night Stalker Aghanim or something like that, you really limit the mobility potential of teams.
10 seconds
Really
remaining.
hard for them to fight around.
I still think it's very, very difficult for CDC to take these
Team
fights. Like, I think
Secrets,
you're saying
turn
they
to
have to
back.
pick their fight. At some point, they're going to have to take it.
Mhm.
And I don't know if they're ready for it. to me, Night Stalker's biggest weakness is teamfight lineups. If you can force him to teamfight and you don't get the skirmish setup, it's very, very difficult for Night Stalker to have
10 seconds
his impact,
remaining.
which he
Okay.
excels at those smaller fights throughout the game.
So how do you want CDEC to round off their lineup? I mean,
I think they can't just allow Secret to farm up a 14-minute Greaves on Enigma again, because then I think they just lose the game minute 20. They just push them, and CDC can't teamfight. They're not strong enough. I really don't think so. So either, again, full emphasis on the early game, put the Lina mid, get a roaming support with Night Stalker, and put pressure on the lanes, or you need
This
really
is
heavy
pubs.
split push like
you
Prophet.
just like pick a jungle Legion commander and fight greed with greed. You've got that last player who's like, I'm not playing support. They've got a jungle. I'm picking Legion.
Do you like
commander.
Visage as a greedy support here, so that when the Klings roam, you can actually
This
farm
is interesting.
Well,
I think
Q
Prophet
plays an
isn't
amazing, and he plays it like
out of the
very
question.
different with the arcane boots into the mech, and they don't really have they don't have a mech hero yet. So if
Get
they want
someone so they can push
5
towers
seconds
themselves
remaining.
early, so they can trade evenly.
Disruptor though.
So it's just
This
team
is some
fight.
team
They're
fight.
going
Team
for
fight.
team fight.
Disruptor's really getting inside. Spec.
oh dear.
You see they banned
Team
last
fight.
ban
It's
Ursa.
just team fight.
Yeah.
It's like never gonna get that.
Yeah, but it's still like Secret still has like the Spectre to round their lineup up, which means more team fight. It's just all about the team fights that they want to have.
Okay, couch number 2. You have to agree with each other because I'm getting bored of asking all 4 of you. And this is the first series, so you have to agree who's going to take it.
I mean, you said Cdec at the start. I said Secret, so I don't know. Have you been swayed to my side yet? Come on, Will. You can do it. It's good Secret here.
I think Secret can actually. I'd be more inclined to switch to your side than try to convince you to go to mine.
Nice. All
But
right,
I
Team
still
Secret.
think Cdec is gonna caveat there, but
All right.
we'll go.
Well,
do
now
the
if you're
Secret
right,
couch.
you're right. If you're wrong, then
Yeah.
you were right at the start. So
Yeah,
either way, you win.
exactly.
So you're Secret over on
Yep.
couch number 2. Couch number 1, Winter.
I
Take
trust
a
my
moment
roommate.
to talk about
I
it.
trust my roommate. That's all I
So
can
you're
say.
just saying I decide for this
Yeah.
game? I think Secret is going to win this game. I did say CDC going into the series, but I just
Prepare
don't
for
think their
battle.
drafts in this game and the previous one have been good enough.
All right, well, we'll find out. It looks like we are live, so the commentators will take you from here on in. It's Secret versus CDEC for the first series. This is the final game to decide who will win.
Okay, guys, indeed, Game 3 between CDEC and Secret, and
Look
what a
at this,
series
man.
it has been so far. And what are you seeing, Andy, already? What's going on?
Highlight die with the smoke break. That was actually
Alright.
so nice.
Let's see what they can find. And we were talking about this in the draft. Let's Q on the Disruptor. Is that the answer to what Secret were pulling out in Game 2 with the Tide and the Enigma?
It's really good if you can catch out the tide. Like, most of the time, the way that Secret want to take
30
team fights, they want to
seconds
be
to
very
battle.
compact. They want to fight around Black Hole and Ravage. Obviously, they have the Spectre Haunt to follow that up. Disruptor is one of the few heroes in the game who can just stop a tide from casting while he's taking damage, because Static Storm is an area of effect debuff that's basically applied to you every second or like however many seconds it lasts, which means that if he gets caught inside of the kinetic field in a Static Storm, he can be killed before he ults, which is a really nice thing to have. Also helps secure the laning phase, gives him pretty good roam actually. Disruptor and Lina together,
The battle
like if the
begins.
Disruptor roams for mid, then you can very easily get a kill with that as well. Thunderstrike, Glimpse, Cage, probably a dead hero. Same thing can be said with the Night Stalker and the Disruptor roaming around together. And plus, the vision that you gain with Night Stalker and the Disruptor during nighttime has great synergy, because Night Stalker has ridiculous vision once he gets Ags.
And of course, Envy bringing out the Spectre this match. We were talking about potential position ones heroes for the guy this game, and Spectre not necessarily one that we came up with. Why do you feel Secrets felt that this is the game for a Spec?
Well, I think Winter said it pretty well. They're just doing everything based around the team fight potential. I was thinking more along the lines they might go like a Sven or a Lycan just to give them even more push to allow themselves to just go high ground sooner. But if you're winning the game...
Oh, is that... Look at that.
Oh, that is
That
painful.
is-
That D-ward.
Oh! Oh!
That's painful. But as far as the safe lane hero for this game goes, I think that Spectre is more than okay. It's not that it's I don't think it's a bad pick. It's just a different mentality. Instead of going for the win, you're guaranteeing that if your lineup functions well during the first 20 to 25 minutes of the game, you're going to be so far ahead that a Spectre is going to seem terrifying to ever try to fight into. And those supports, like the support Disruptor, for example, and even a core Lina, actually have a pretty hard time dealing with late game Spectre because the hero's just in your face all the time. You pop Haunt and it becomes very annoying for you.
And the lanes, we've seen them kind of switch around each game. A lot of kind of aggressive tri lanes and such coming out in each Game 1 and Game 2. And now in Game 3, you're seeing a bit more orthodox misery. He's going to have to deal with this tri lane here on the top lane. now, of course, on the Tide. And one thing that we didn't really mention ourselves, but was in Game 2, we were talking about Puppy a lot with the black holes, but a lot of it was indeed down to Misery's Ravage. He had quite a game in Game 2 on the Tide Antone. So I'm interested to see if they can go for a repeat performance this game. And we already mentioned the Disruptor way of dealing with it. Do you feel that CDC, with their draft and their lineup, they do just have a better overall way of dealing with the playstyle that Secret went for in Game 2?
Certainly better than last games. Yeah, the Weaver and the Razor just did nothing during that game. After the laning phase, like 10 minutes in, heroes just don't have enough farm. Like the Weaver needed another item on top of his Lincolns, which could be anywhere from like 3,500 for a Deso to, you know, whatever he would want to go
Misery!
for.
Oh no! God, I might just catch him out here. Misery was going for a bit of a cheeky farm there on the sideball, but oh no, pays with first blood to the Night Stalker. Oh, that's got to be painful there. Just a little bit unfortunate. Garda, because he sniffed him out.
Yeah, that's very nice. He realizes that this lane is much harder for the Tide than the previous lane. Like, even though it was Razor versus Tide, Misery ended up doing very well in that matchup, but this time around, it's not going to be so easy for him. And this is one of the things, too, that you can do to punish an Enigma. Like, last game, it really felt like the Enigma was one of the saving graces along with Misery's Tide, as you said, but they can actually do things to punish the greed this time around, which is probably the biggest difference between the two drafts. In the previous game, they were just sitting in the lane. They had the Enchantress up there, like Q was just killing Envy over and over, but killing Envy didn't matter. It was more about just stopping the offlaner and the jungler from getting complete and total free farm, but this time they're going to be able to punish a little bit harder.
And of course, aggressive this time on the Flinks. We saw Envy's Flinks in Game 2. Didn't have a great start, made a great recovery though. This time aggressive is getting more than enough space, so we're going to see the power of the Clinks with a good start straight off the bat. And as you said, yeah, the lane's being kind of compromised because of this Enigma, but at the same time, if you're ever going to compromise your lanes for Enigma, I think you'd be quite happy to do it for a Puppy Enigma.
Yeah, he's probably... Is there any Enigma better than Puppy? I don't know if there is, because he's pretty much the guy who's played this hero since God knows when. Even back in Dota 1, this was a hero that he was known for, so he knows the hero in and out. And I'm assuming he realizes he's getting leeched from right now, because he's not going to go up that ramp. He's going to send that conversions first. But, you know, Garter, he's just doing his thing. He's pretty much acting like a bounty hunter here.
Pi's going to come in and look for the control. They have got, of course, Puppy's coming around for this one. While they're trying to buy some space and time, talking about time, dilation comes out from XZ. And it's going to stop the line from being able to control either of them anymore. So Puppy, even though he did move over, unable to get there in time to follow up. It's giving Envy a bit of space down at the bottom. 19 for 4 at the moment on this Spectre. XZ not being too much of an issue for him, but at the same time, XZ is getting a decent amount of last hits on the off-lane Void, of course.
And just these little rotations, like forcing reactions out of the supports, making Puppy stop farming. Keep in mind, at this time last game, Puppy was pretty much almost level 6, right? Like he's level 4 right now. He had an extremely uninterrupted jungle in the last match. He only went to get, I think it was 1 bounty rune, and then he like auto-attacked a couple of times onto Q's Enchantress, and he went back. So he's already a little bit behind where he probably wants to be. And with that in mind, it means that the 5-man's not going to be as strong. High, getting chased here. I don't think that Garter can go for this. It's way too deep.
I mean, talking about the Puppy Enigma, we've seen already with the warding, CDC just putting a lot more emphasis this game on just trying to control, keep tabs on the Enigma in his jungle. Because they really realize it is, and it can be a huge threat for them. Totally Misery, how's he doing in levels? He has managed to start to find a fair bit of XP. He's now level 4 on the Tide. We saw him have a pretty tough time up here at the beginning. He's finding some stuff, and of course with that, Talon can back off and still find that mid lane. There is a bit of a wrap around here. They're trying to catch out Weak. He's got the Ghost Warp. Puppy's there as well to help force Shiki back. He's going to be fine with the haste.
It's actually quite surprising they didn't have Dust. Like, Garter has 500 gold right now. He could have easily had Dust on him, and I think they would have killed him. Because there was Laguna. Yeah, he definitely should be dead right now. A little bit of a misplay here from CDC. Did he just trade for the... Nope, he didn't. Alright, so... not the most successful rotation. Very weird, actually, that CDC came to that gank not prepared.
Aggressive. Now starting to get a bit of damage onto this tier 1 top. As he will continue to push in. Misery has had to go back to base himself, still sitting on that level 4, so I think the key ults really on the Enigma and the Tide, of course, aren't going to be coming out at the same speed as in Game 2. But still, nonetheless, we know what Secret can and will hope to do with them. But at this point of the game, the farm still, Spectre, Envy on the bottom lane. He is level 6 now, so he can jump into the fights if they do kick off. And I guess in terms of pickup potential, they are waiting on these ults pretty much from all of the three heroes, the Enigma, the Tidehunter, and the Lion, before we can kind of expect to see them go for any action that Envy can kind of hop into to get himself involved in the kills.
That's going to be really nice because with the teamfight utility that they have, normally Spectre comes to teamfights anyway. Like that guy is popping haunt, throwing out daggers.
Oh!
Goodbye.
Smooth drive by there from Shiki. Laguna Blade straight down onto the little Lion. And Envy, he's straight into the trees with the Spectral Dagger.
Yeah, I think he's going to want to stay there for a little while.
Especially with XE hitting level 6 with the next creep, so we'll have that Chrono as well. So Envy needs to be very careful here at the moment. He's all on his own. And he's going to come back out now. The ping's coming through as we start to see CDC head themselves towards the mid lane. Maybe going to try again for a bit of action onto Wii. Garda does have the dust this time round.
The thing about those types of ganks is when you mess up a gank like that on Invoker, like say Wii dies, you know, that's a big kill that you just didn't get because you didn't buy dust, and there was no reason not to have it because you had the money. So maybe that opportunity doesn't present itself again. Like right now, Wii's not going to get ganked; he's just going back, and it's a little bit concerning. But CDC making more rotations here, going towards bottom. Ward's going to spot him out though, and he knows what's going down here.
They really want to try and find Envy, but as you said, they know, and the CDC knows. Well, the pings came out. They know that Envy's got the vision. They're going to try and find him there with the kinetic field, but it's not going to be the case. Envy's going to be lucky once again, keeping himself alive, playing it very safely. Envy, top lane, aggressive, keeping himself under the cover of the skeleton wall. It's going to be the level 6 now on to Misery with the next creep wave. This could be when we start to see the game begin to pick up, and Secret maybe looking to try and find some action. In fact, action could be found against them as Garda comes in. Aggressive now reveals himself, and Misery in trouble. The Horn, and there's your Ravage. He hit the level 6 just in time, and there's your turnaround. The Earth Spike onto Garda. Secret catching out CDEC when they were the ones looking for the initiation. Great response there with the Horn, and Ravage coming online at just the right time for Misery.
Now we talk about preparation. Envy even has dust on him. Like he knew that they were going to be trying to go for team fights, and as long as the Ravage comes out and you have Haunt available, your carry is going to be at every single team fight. The synergy behind this pick is actually way better than even I thought at the very beginning when I saw it first picked. I was like, oh, it's pretty good. But after seeing it in action, you can see here, like even with the Sunstrike being thrown out, there's just no reaction that's going to be fast enough to stop that. They wanted to go for a kill, they end up getting 2 wiped off the map in the matter of seconds, so Secret going to be feeling pretty good about that one. And the other thing about their lineup is because they do have Enigma, Roshan is always going to be quite easy. So that happens maybe 1 or 2 more times, start losing some towers.
Oh, actually, look at the Chrono, and he will manage to clip Envy, but here comes the TP for Syria. It doesn't look like it's going to be here in time. Pilot down, maybe it is! Envy! Is he going to go down? He will! Aggressive gets the final touch in, will take him down, and now looking to dive onto Pilot Die. There'll be another TP coming through. Look at the Hex out onto Aggressive. He's got to back himself out away from the tower. Pilot Die just going for the walk around. Now we turns up. XE losing mana fast. Will be able to get himself out and away in time before Weehar can catch him out here. Still CDC, they want to try and fight. Q moving in with Aggressive, Garda and the boys. XE salving up, going in for the dive, looking for Pilot Die. Weehar's going to hide in the sidelines. They'll get the kill on the line. Weehar still hiding. Now Misery comes through. Garda's still trying to find Wee. He's hiding in the trees. Should spot him out, and he will. They'll throw out a Chaos Meteor, but it doesn't matter. Weehar on his own. He goes down as well. And some fantastic aggression just being forced out there from the side of CDC, just ready to stand by that tower. And they knew that whatever Secret threw in, they didn't have the Ravage, they didn't have the Horn, and that was the best time for CDC to look for a fight.
I would actually like to know if Puppy showed himself on the map beforehand. I think he did, actually. And maybe they just saw the fact that he didn't have a teleport scroll and they just wanted to go for the dive, because this was very, very aggressive from CDC. And as you said, they knew that there was no Ravage on cooldown. It's not really a hard dive to make when you know that those 2 spells, very long cooldowns, are not going to be available. But also realizing that Puppy probably couldn't come to the team fight either just means that for CDEC, that was a very easy decision to make.
And the fact that, of course, they had the Disruptor there, they knew that they could send someone back to base. And, of course, as we saw, it was at the time, they just sent Misery straight back. I think even if they kind of kept him there, they could probably maybe even have found the kill on that as well, because he didn't have the Ravage, but just making the job a little bit easier and allowing them to make sure that they got that big kill on Weehar's Invoker. I imagine he did manage to pick up the Midas before he went down and managed to use it, because he was very close to having that gold. So if that kill on him came a little bit earlier, that could have been a lot more painful for Secret. CDC now leading the game 5-2, and it's all going to be down to Puppy. Game 1, we saw a little bit of a rocky start being turned around by the big black hole contribution from Puppy. We'll see if he's going to be able to do it again this game. Just been focusing on farming the Ancients for the time being, the Enigma.
Now, this game's going to be a bit different too, because CDC actually have a tremendous amount of damage, where it felt like last game they were kind of lacking the damage output in some categories. Like Weaver doesn't really do that much because he needs a lot of items, and Razor is kind of the same because he needs time for static links to really start dealing damage for him. And bottom lane, Pi.
Going in, Chrono straight up, and that's the kill on line. The Ravage will come through. It's only going to catch out Aggressive, but that's the big kill. They'll take the Clinks in return. And I get they'll be happy with that one. They did cost them the Ravage, but that's a kill on your Clinks.
That is definitely a worth. And that means that Envy is going to secure his urn now too. Just going to continue to look to fight. As long as they have one ultimate off cooldown, regardless of whether it's Black Hole or Ravage, I think they're going to continually be looking for pressure here.
Oh, Puppey. Straight up caught out there by Shiki, but it doesn't quite have the burst to deal with Puppey. Now he turns around. That was
the ether
smooth.
lens, man.
Backs off. He says, I got this one, guys. Q getting the glimpse back onto We Are. Drops the Static Storm. Shiki with his double damage just ripping through Secret. He's got himself a double kill. His with the Anchor Smash will be able to force back Shiki. Losing some of the damage. The finger coming out to Garda. Garda kicking himself back to the high ground. Puppey with the Eidolons. He'll get the kill. It's a 2 for 2. Misery. He'll fall as well, though. Triple kill for Shiki. That double damage pretty much making the fight for CDEC, but Secret, they don't go down without one, and they do take 2 in return.
Man, Misery didn't even pick up the regen. That actually makes it so much worse. Like, it sounds like a small thing, but we'll get a chance to watch this one more time. Like, Puppey, it looks like he's walking too far away, right? But I didn't see he had Ether Lens in his inventory, so I was like, wait, why is he walking away? But all things considered, CDC are going to be quite happy with this turn of events. And the fact that Shiki doesn't even have to go back to base. Like, he's up to 1,700 gold now after that engagement. I assume he's just going straight for the duels. Yeah, he's got the Staff of Wizardry in his inventory. This also opens up a really big opportunity for CDC to go Roche. Like, all tier 1s are dead. This is the point in the game where Secret now have to try to make some kind of counterplay. They have Ravage up in about a minute, and I think Haunt is a little bit less than that. Yeah, it's about 30 seconds cooldown difference, so they have a little bit of a window here, CDC. If they want to go for this Roshan, they got a little bit of time, and I think Secret, like, they almost have to contest this, right? Like, they can maybe counter push tier 1 mid, but giving them this kind of advantage this early, when you have the advantage in team fight and you're losing team fights against a team who has better rotations, better way of controlling the map once they are ahead, which they definitely are. Like, you're against Night Stalker and you're against Clinks with Disruptor as well, so you can get picked so easily.
Looks like CDC are going to get away with this.
They're not going to go.
Yeah, they're going to be very happy with this. They do lose the tier 1 mid, but a trade that CDC will be more than happy to take. Yeah, he's going to go the way of Aggressive, and of course now with that he should be very close to Dessa. Yeah, he's just about 300 gold away from picking up the Desolator as well here on the Clinks.
The big question is, what do Secret want to do? Is this just a warding smoke, or are they actually looking for a fight? They do have everything up, pretty much. The only thing they're missing is Finger, and to be honest, if they land their ultimates properly, Finger is probably not the most important spell to worry about, because a Meteor from Wii will, like, clean up everyone inside of the Ravage or the Black Hole at this point. And they're just waiting things out here. Envy's going to show, and he just blatantly broke smoke, so I don't think they're looking to fight. They just want to try to get something here.
And CDC did also go for that smoke, as we saw in Secret's jungle. So both teams inadvertently avoiding each other. It's going to be the space for Secret to take this tier 1 top, but the trade is going to be looked for by CDC. They'll look for the tier 2 in the mid lane. Start to see some TPs coming back. It's going to be Puppey leading the way. We'll see if they can find any way to stop this push. Sending forward the illusion. Trying to catch out what Secret are looking for in terms of a jump in. Misery. The Blink Dagger just comes out right now on the courier. No, it's the drum, sorry. Going for that drums build that we did see, of course, in the last game. They don't have Blink Initiation, but they do have the Haunt to lead in. Envy will pop it. CDC straight away beginning to scatter. They'll put the Spectral Dagger onto Shiki. The players one carefully. Misery has been silenced up. The Static Storm comes out. It's going to trap Envy. No, he can get himself out just in time. Garda falling low. Can they get the kill on the Night Stalker with her? But the first casualty, XE. Lovely Chrono onto 3. Aggressive trying to get the damage out. But the Ravage is there from Misery. XE's going to fall as well. 2 down on CDC. They've got the Dust. The Hex onto Aggressive. The Finger's there. Clicks trying to run, trying to hide. He'll go down. That's the Aegis popped. Can Secret kill him for a second time? Shiki's still hanging around. See if he can save the Clink. But there's going to be no way, can he? He gets on a lovely Light Strike. Will bring down Puppey. But they lose Aggressive on the Clinks. So a 3 for 1, including the Aegis being taken out of the hands of the Clinks. Big fight there for Secret. And, well, they didn't even need to use the Black Hole.
The coordination there from CDC wasn't really on point. Like, the fight was very split up at the start, and we'll get an opportunity to actually watch it. But if you watch what XE does after they start walking up to the side here, like, they're all chasing onto the Lina. And then they try to go for a spear where basically there's no follow-up damage. Like, he hits people behind the tower. So All in all, it didn't really work out for them because no one was there to actually deal any damage, and the Static Storm was also dropped in such a defensive way that they didn't even have that when his sphere came out. So he throws out his sphere, auto attacks like 2 or 3 times with just Vlad's in his inventory, and he's like, oh, I actually don't do any damage on my own. I actually need my team. And at that point, it's already over. Secret just a little bit too strong there in that engagement. And Puppy is closing in on his Guardian Greaves as well. He's got the Mech and Arcanes already finished. And once that happens, I'd actually say that the Secret are going to be feeling pretty good. Like, that Roshan was supposed to secure CDEC map control for quite a long time. Like, when you're playing with Night Stalker and you have the advantage, and it's also going to be nighttime in a couple of minutes, you have full map control. Secret felt incredibly scared to try to do anything there, but as soon as they see the team fight spread out, it's just immediately in their favor.
I'll go smoke time from the side of Secret. I think Puppy, he said we're 17 minutes into the game. I haven't had a chance to really get off a big one here with the black hole, and he wants to use it. Lead in here at the moment from Misery, pilot down Weeha. Looks like they'll find guard in the jungle, and they'll go for the pick-off straight in. No way for the Night Stalker to get himself out of that one. And they'll take down ENS. And off the back of that, they'll look for a push themselves in the mid lane. They just lost a tier 2 about a minute or so ago, and this time they're going to try and take the tier 2 back. As we can see, big ults coming back off cooldown here from both sides. The question is, can CDC really try and do anything about this? They've got the Static Storm, still 15 seconds without the Night Stalker. But eyeing this one up, it's going to be a hefty push to try and stop Shiki moving forward. They've got the 6 sidelines out. XE on the back lines with aggressive. But Secret, they're aware that something's going on and they're playing this safe. They just send the minions in to push, and they themselves, keeping themselves away from any kind of danger that CDC might throw at them in defense.
It's a little bit scary right now because they don't actually know how close the Void is to Blink. Like, XE's at 1500, so he could have Blink anywhere from now in the next, like, 3 to 5 minutes, give or take, depending on how quickly he farms. Once they get that, I think that taking the team fight is going to be way easier, because as soon as you get that Blink sphere, you allow the Static Storm to come in almost every single time. And you can even overlap if you want, if you know you're going to get the kills, you just drop it on Misery or Puppy, and you just get those kills. And unlike the previous games, where we saw that there were heroes who have saves, like when he had the Dazzle before and the OD, this game has no saves for those heroes. So you get a sphere into a Static Storm, they should die pretty much every single time.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Top lane. Looks like it's just going to be a bit of a trade here once again. Secret on the tier 2 top. Puppy already ready with the TP back. Leaving the tier 2 here on the bottom. Can they do anything here in time? Misery moving forward. Looks like they may think about fighting. They've got all the ultimates, but at the same time, so does CDC. Misery being kept back in. Garda now will summon up the nighttime. XE's moving forward. They've got the Static Storm onto Misery. There's your Chrono onto 3 on the back lines. They focus onto Puppy, bring down the Enigma. They found Misery as well on the touch. There's 2 hours now before they can get the ults off. Envy silenced up. It's the 3rd kill there for CDEC. And XE there with the big Chronos when his team needs it. And that is the kind of stuff that turns the game on its head.
Has this guy actually hit less than 3 heroes with Chronosphere? Like, in this entire series? I mean, I know he's played it every single game, but it really feels like he always hits, like, the perfect sphere exactly when they need it. And the coordination there was sick, and he didn't even have Blink. Like, he did that without Blink Dagger.
Fly back on Misery. Secret. They're going to try and force this fight here. They're going to potentially use Pilot Dies falling low. CDC moving forward. They want to try and finish off the line. Look at the damage from Aggressive ripping through Wii. Only just able to survive. Misery coming in again. He's on his own at the moment. He is going to be back on the pitch now here on the Enigma. Misery moving forward. He wants to try and find the Ravage, and he's going to find Garda trying to TP out straight in front of the Tidehunter. He'll cancel the TP on the Night Stalker. There'll be the glimpse back onto Misery. Envy now coming in, jumping straight forward onto Garda with the Spectral Dagger. Looking for the Night Stalker kill. Will find it. They'll be able to get aggressive here as well, but looks of it, yes, they've got the dust. They'll get that one too. 2 heroes down on CDC. Did cost the buyback there on the Tidehunter, but the base is defended.
I think it was worth it. I think maybe if Envy was a little bit faster, he might have been able to get an extra kill as well, because his haunt was still going for, I think, 1 more second, and he might have been able to chase down the Void, who is currently jungling right now, because he didn't have mana for a time walk. But at the beginning of this fight, you see the Static Storm.
Look at that Chrono.
And how incredible that Chrono was. Like, 3 heroes, couple on the edge. It puts Envy in such a bad position as well that there's just no way that Seeker can take that fight anymore. Like, as soon as your carry's dead, you have no Ravage. There's no salvaging that. It's just game. But you can see that they defend pretty much only because they have Glyph, and the Ravage ends up equalizing an otherwise pretty bad fight. But all in all, I would say that CDC dealt a pretty good amount of damage there.
As we saw, that very nearly got the kill onto the Void as well. The Sunstruck just a little bit off the point there from Weeha. But nonetheless, I mean, Game 3, I kind of expected it after seeing both
Yep.
teams have a pretty strong stellar performance, respectively. Game 1, of course, with CDC, and Game 2 from Secret. Game 3 so far, it's going to be a close one.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that you want to see, though, right? Like, the first game was a little bit stompy, I'll admit, but I think it was a little bit of a draft issue. And then the next game, it's kind of like the other way. One team does pretty well, and now it's just an even game. This is like the dream best-of-3 series, right?
Absolutely. And so some big items are coming out, as we can see. Aggressive. He is going to have that PKB pretty shortly ready for the next fight. Now on the Night Stalker, Agonims is just only about 1,000 gold away for Garden. You talked about it earlier, just the synergy of having that vision with the Disruptor. The catch-out potential is going to be huge. Even just things like sending back heroes that are looking for that initiation with the big ultimates, like Puppy's Enigma, like Misery's Tide. Talking about Puppy on the Enigma, that's your Guardian Greaves done. Ready for the next fight as well.
It's a really big item for him, mainly because you can dispel yourself. So if the Night Stalker ever throws a silence on you, you can just pop it off. Obviously, being able to save teammates is going to be nice, too. It's not really super useful at this stage in the game in terms of dealing with burst, because Shiki has Agonims. So level 2 Laguna Blade, 650 pure, plus the rest of the damage that, you know, Aggressive and everyone can do. It's kind of not really lost all of its potency, but the dispel is very nice. And Secret, they're looking for an opportunity here. Smoked up, they got the Yule's combo. We actually has a very interesting spells loaded here.
Oh, He's in the Roche pit. He's going to want to get out, and he will. Pop the Hornet to get the vision. MP jumping straight forward with the Spectral Dagger. The Gush will be thrown out, but Exy Time walks himself away.
This is a fresh BKB. I think CDC want to go. If they go really fast, they might be able to catch it, but they have to be very decisive. They were kind of walking around for a few seconds.
They've got to get themselves over there quickly, as you said. They know that Haunt's down. The rest of the ult's still up for the side of Secret, and Secret themselves, they know that CDC's going to want to look for this one. They're not going to fully commit to the Roche at the moment. They're hanging out on the side, scanning out themselves. They'll now see the Forge Spirit. The CDC are jumping in. Looks like CDC are going to essentially try and start to go for it themselves.
Yeah, they can go for this
Black
easy.
Hole and Ravage are there. CDC, they've got to be careful with their positioning. 3 are in the pit at the moment, and Misery's just going to jump straight in. Gets off the Ravage. Q will be bursted down. The Static Storm getting popped out, so Puppy can't find the Black Hole. They'll find the Laguna's line, but it's a double kill for Weehaw. This fight going incredibly well for the side of Secret so far. Aggressive pops the BKB, but the damage from Envy, it's looking to be enough, and there's your Black Hole. Puppy saves himself, takes down 2, bringing in XE, bringing in Aggressive. 4 dead on CDC, and Secret return to the pit to clean up Roche and grab themselves the agent.
That was very nicely done. Like, they just split them apart again. It seems like every single time they go into a team fight and they're not all coordinated, it's just a disaster. Like at the beginning of this fight, Ravage comes through, and then you pretty much just lose a hero straight away. He has to drop Static Storm in a very suboptimal way. And the Laguna was used on the Lion, and he ends up trading his own life, like a Lion for a Lean at this stage, when that was a wicked 6-streak from Shiki.
And look at it, they're desperately trying to keep, and the Greaves, just at the time, coming out, keeping Puppy alive, and he gets off that Black Hole. We may not have seen as many this game as we saw in Game 2, and arguably this one is a harder matchup considering the heroes that CDC have got, but still Puppy manages to bring out the big guns just when it's needed.
Just a difference in initiation, really. That's what it boils down to. The contrast between the fight and that pit and how it opened by just it being a Ravage instead of getting jumped on by a Sphere and a Disruptor ulti, that's going to be how the dynamic goes in an actual team fight. Now, if CDEC get a good fight going and actually get ahead and can hold map control with the Night Stalker, then the way the game is played changes a little bit. But as long as it's just like this brawl 5 versus 5, Secret are going to have the advantage as long as they don't get caught out by that like gigantic Sphere that XE has been throwing out.
In terms of kind of items now for CDC, we saw that, I mean, even with the BKB, Aggressive was, you know, once a few of his teammates are down, he just can't do enough on his own. He does need to have someone go in and get the catch. And I think the one thing that you keep touching on about, and I think it's very relevant to the fact that they can't seem to find it, is the fact that these Static Storms, each and every time, they're having to be thrown out defensively. We've not seen the Disruptor really find a huge catch.
It was just Misery bottom. That was the only time. Because he got a glimpse into a Static Storm that ended up resulting in him having to buy back. That was when they were defending bottom. But outside of that, yeah, it's tough. I mean, when you smoke up as a Secret, or you want to try to reinitiate and the enemy team doesn't have proper vision, one good ultimate like a Ravage or a Black Hole can just seal the fight, just right away. You just don't have a chance to do anything after that, and the damage is pretty much already dealt. So in these types of high stress situations, it's usually better to try to go for the jump as long as you know who you're going for first, and Seems like Secret want to continue this trend. They're going to smoke up, go into the enemy woods. Maybe some warding going to happen here. Actually, Pi only has sentries on it right now, so.
Oh,
smoke broken.
aggressive.
Sentry,
They'll be happy with this kill. Sentry gets dropped up to the Hex off in time and haunting it as well. There's your dust. BKB will be popped by aggressive. Maybe look for the turnaround, but the Manta's done on Envy. Comes out the Sunstrike's on point. Aggressive. Could he get himself up? Just manages to get himself back up to the high ground. He will live.
Oh,
I'm not quite sure how he got away there, but he managed it, Andy.
That was actually a really good play and then a misplay at the same time. Like, Pi sees the smoke break. He drops the sentry. It was a little bit slow. But then he throws out a Hex and then misses his stun. So he hexed him, missed the stun, and then they run away from Shiki, or not Shiki, they run away from aggressive thinking that they're not going to be able to kill him because of BKB. But Sunstrike goes through BKB. So one Anchor Smasher, one auto attacker, anything would have killed him. But they just didn't think they had the damage, so they just walk away. That was pretty lucky.
Aggressive's going to be pretty happy with
Yeah,
that.
he's going to be pleased with that.
Nice,
situation.
alright guys. Whew. Indeed, the game continues to be close as ever.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure, maybe he didn't have mana actually. Maybe Pi didn't have mana for Finger, but his Finger's still up, which means that they definitely could have killed him. And that kill would have been huge. That opens up racks. Like there's tier 3 towers that you can actually hit there. Maybe even force a buyback.
This time it's going to be smoking for CDC, but the ward was there. So Secret, I'm aware that CDC are on their way up.
Yeah, this is actually really good for Secret that I see it. They're going to do the same thing.
Looks to try and break it with the Ghost Walk.
Yeah. Okay, there it is.
Okay, there we have it. We know
And
you're
then
there,
they're like,
boys.
well,
we know you're there.
We've been bamboozled.
Oh, Dust, a little bit off the point here because he's going to play it smart. Doesn't go straight into the middle of them all. Puppy, he wants to use that black hole Weehaw. He's going to head up. Going to get the catch out. There's the setup. Misery walking in. Ravage onto 3. Sunstrike coming down onto Shiki. There's your first kill. The Static Storm again getting thrown out. Will trap up a couple of them. Doesn't quite trap Weehaw. He gets himself out. Puppy with the black hole onto aggressive. He's got the BKB. Stopping some of the damage from other sources. Now the Chrono from XC does manage to catch him out. Aggressive says, I got this, guys. No, you haven't. You need to get yourself out of there, son. Gush onto XC. XC tries to get himself back to base. Now comes the horn. XC time walks back up. It's a triple kill for Weehaw as he picks off Garda on the Night Stalk on the sidelines. Aggressive will keep himself alive, but 3 dead. And it's going to cause a buyback here on the Lina. And he needs to try and defend this one. Secret ready to try and break the high ground. We saw CDC try to unsuccessfully do this on the bottom lane earlier. Let's see if Secret have a bit more success here in the mid lane. And that Disrupt to back up in 5 seconds, but he doesn't have the ultimate. It's going to be a hard defense from the first Chronosphere on cooldown after that last fight. Secret might just get the space to go for this. Is he jumping in, getting the time dilation onto them all, but with the Greaves, Secret just so tanky with this push, and they should be able to finish off themselves a full set of racks in the middle. They might even try and find some more action. Misery blinks in. Just getting the space there for Envy to finish that off, and they managed to find themselves a set of racks. So, Envy?
I was going to say, it looked like he DC'd there for a
Okay,
second. He
kinda
just
sat there.
stopped. Okay, but that was a really, really good Ravage for Misery. Like, the timing with the Tornado Lift was perfect, because it was 4 points and a cross with Aghanims as well. So he had to time that absolutely flawless to hit the Ravage in the fashion that he did, and also realizing that going for Shiki was the best target. You know, just going for the core right away, blowing him up, resulting in pretty much going for the 2 set of racks that we just saw drop there. So very nicely done from Secret. It seemed a little bit hit or miss for a while, and again, this game just boiled down to who's had the better initiation thus far. But we also have to not discredit the ward that saw the smoke in the first place.
Absolutely.
Like that was
and
key.
And just as it was expiring as well.
Yeah.
So some very close. I think we've got to mention Weehaw. It's not really any news, but this man's pretty good on the Invoker. He is
not
having
bad.
An absolute game.
Not bad.
Absolute game. Top of the net worth, 18,500 here on the man. And I mean, as you said, Misery following up, but got his Weehaw with the setups each and every time, allowing Misery to blink himself into position, getting his multi-band. Casual Sunstrike there. He's on top of it.
That's the ICU.
That's the 8K Sunstrike.
Yep. But this is a really rough situation now for CDC. The Spectre's kind of getting out of hand. We haven't really talked much about Envy, but he's always been contributing to the fights, you know. He's been carrying Dust. He's always there when he needs to be. And then when he's just off doing his own thing, farming, the rest of his team is pressuring in such a way that they can't realistically go for him ever. Because every single time he's showing himself on the map somewhere else, you have like Puppy and Misery and everyone else just pushing down a lane and, you know, hitting towers, making CDC respond to them. And if you don't come back and you only kill one, then, you know, Envy at this stage in the game is probably going to start sitting for buyback, so he can just buyback haunt if they want to go for high ground, because that's realistically one of the best ways to break base as Spectre, is just to have 2 lives and only use your Haunt when you buy back for the second one to ensure that you basically have an Aegis. It just costs money.
Now, what do you think about sort of Clinic's obviously with his items, deciding to go for the diffusal this game aggressive?
Diffusal's actually, I think, a bit of an underrated item, just mainly because it doesn't have a cooldown. It makes it very easy to dispel things like Hex, for example. Like, they want to go for Shiki, you can just dispel it. And then if you want to try to chase somebody down, since he doesn't really have a tremendous amount of lockdown outside of just like blowing somebody up in a sphere, it's nice to have for chase. And the other thing too is you can just dispel dust.
Oh, this could be a big. There's the Haunt, there's the Vision. They know they're grouped up. They're backing themselves away. Envy gets the stun to Q. The finger being thrown down onto Garda. Night Stalker going to be the first to pop. Q as well. 2 kills there for the side of Secret. And they didn't even need the Ravage. They didn't need the Black Hole. Just the Haunt to lead in and jumping in with the Diffusal Blade slows coming out from the Spectre. Envy with the control, and now they're going to go for a second lane of racks here. They're going to go for the tier 3 CDC with 2 heroes down, neither with buyback available. Secret, oh, nice, aggressive, running past these sentries. Oh, Ice Wall from Wii. BKB coming out aggressive, trying to turn and fight there with the damage from the Deso. Now Envy, he's just going to go straight back in. Xe gets the Chrono onto Puppey. Aggressive still hanging around. There'll be the Earth Spike from the sidelines. Pylido controlling the Void in the Chrono. There's your Ravage. Onto 3. Misery. 2 dead. It's a double kill for Envy. We are blinking up to the high ground. They'll find themselves a third triple kill for Envy on the Spectre. 3 heroes dead on CDC for roughly 50 seconds. No buybacks. It's GG. And Secret did it. After what looked like an abysmal Game 1, Game 2 they stepped it up, and Game 3 they stepped it up when CDC did as well. And what a series to start off the tournament.
It was a very close game. I honestly say this game could have gone either way. A lot of it just boils down to, again, just initiation.
Alright, indeed. There we have it. Secret 2-1 against CDC, and back to the panel.
Welcome back to the panel.